give you the thumbs up when I see it happening there. And then we let everybody in.
All right.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, everyone.
Welcome. Welcome to our webinar here this evening. Make sure you turn your cameras on so we can see you.
Welcome to everyone from here too. Hello.
Hello, Ganesh.
Hello.
Hey, everyone.
Just a reminder, everybody, you'll need to turn on your camera because we won't be able to see you.
Nice. Yeah, we are also live on YouTube, so anyone who is watching, hello.
Yes. Yes, hello to all our YouTubers. Hello, hello. Welcome. I see Stuart, I see Ruby, Ganesh. I think we have some others. If please, as you join, be sure that you turn on your camera if you want to be. We are broadcasting on YouTube, so it's if you are okay with other people seeing you, and if you're not, then you don't need to turn on your camera. We also do invite you, if you're not speaking, to mute yourself because the background sounds can come in. We're looking forward to this time with you all. We'll be waiting a few minutes before we actually get started with our presentation, just to be sure that we have everyone who has signed up to be here.
And just to be on the safe side, I'm also going to record on the computer here.
Yes. Well, I'm here in California, Santa Cruz, California.
And I'm here in New York, and it's getting pretty late up here. It's 10:30 p.m. But I know
it's only 7:30 p.m. here, but hopefully it's a much more reasonable time for some of you. I see, yes, Stuart saying you miss UCSC. Yes, hopefully next year we'll be back up at UCSC.
Yeah, this year is another virtual event.
That's right. And there are definitely some advantages to the virtual events, but it's not the same as being able to see you all in person. That's for sure. We're going to wait just another minute or two, and then we'll go ahead and begin. But just enjoying welcoming you all here, and just reminding everybody, if it's okay and you want to be visible, to turn on your camera.
Mm-hmm. 10:30 in Singapore. Yeah, right.
Maybe everybody else could put in what time it is. What is the time where you are? As we are waiting to get started.
5:30 Riga. That's impressive.
Yeah, and
thanks for being here.
And 9:30 also, in 9:30 p.m. in Mexico. Wow. So as usual, we're covering the world, even though we're only seeing a few of us. There's more of us on the call, but we're going to wait one more minute, and then we will launch into our presentation. And we're really looking forward to presenting some things about what we call this zone of genius. I think this will be very interesting for all of us.
Yeah, I'm hoping that people are not having any technical issues, because we've had over 30 people registered. So anyway, if anything happens, it's all going to be possible to watch it also on YouTube. So it's
Absolutely.
okay.
Okay,
So I think we should start, Robert.
let's
Huh?
begin. Let's begin. Well, first of all, let's formally welcome everybody. Thank you for joining us. This is our a webinar and also a presentation about what we do with the Success Mindset Maps, and especially the Success Mindset Maps coach program. I see somebody from Pennsylvania is also joining us.
That's great. And we're going to be talking about something that's been sort of a gem for us for many years. This idea of how mindset plays into every action we take, and how often mindset is the difference that will make the difference, and yet how hard it is to measure or visualize or make it tangible. And this is probably one of the big motivations we've had setting on this journey to start working with and creating the Mindset Maps tool.
So I'm going to go ahead and share the screen, and we're going to go over a few slides, and then we will be taking us through, I think, a very interesting exercise as part of this presentation. So, this is, we want to say a little bit about what the Mindset Maps are, and Success Mindset Map application and the inventory. And then we'll go over what are some of the steps and some of the benefits of the coach program. And we want to basically begin with the idea of what is mindset.
And how the mindset influences us before taking actions. You could sit there and just believe that I alone cannot change the world and it's all hopeless. Or you could have a very different belief about the ability. Like you could be like, I'm forgetting who said that. I think it was Anita Roddick, that think about a mosquito, think about how small a mosquito is, but how much of influence it has on your night's sleep, right?
I think she said, if you don't think you make a difference, that you can't make a difference by yourself, spend the night with a mosquito.
Right.
But actually, also in another way, what we find is that this mindset added with just a little bit of tweaking could be very interesting, because of course I alone can't change the world by myself, but I can inspire others. And this is one of the things that we found with a lot of the models that we have chosen for our Mindset Maps work. Steve Jobs said, when you dream alone, you stay a dreamer. When you dream together, you change the world. So that becomes an interesting question. How do we interpret that? Here's another example of probably a limiting mindset. Just thinking, oh, somebody else will help. Somebody else can do it.
Or perhaps these two guys there, sort of having an assumption. I don't want to kill him, but he wants to kill me. And maybe they're both thinking the same. And if they only could see their mindsets, if they only had a map of the mindset of the other, it could make a big difference.
Or this one, hey, why don't they stay at home? Why don't they stay at home? So I'm out, but they shouldn't be. And again, part of what we see here is that mindset has these interesting blind spots in them. And a big part of what we want to do with the mindset map inventory is to help people find where are their strengths and where are some of those blind spots. So in fact, we've been looking at the mindsets over many years of many people, and these are just a few very well-known people that we have incorporated into the mindset map inventory.
And we do have to mention, you all know Steve Jobs, Probably most of you will know Richard Branson of the Virgin Group or
He just
Bezos
went.
of
Who just
Amazon.
went to outer space yesterday? Richard Branson just went up in the
Exactly.
first Virgin Galactic, or not the first, but a Virgin Galactic flight.
Yeah, and for us, some of the questions that we get around these people is that, well, Steve Jobs is a great businessman, but he's been doing things as a leader or as a family man that we not necessarily approve of. Or Jeff Bezos has certainly built Amazon.com, but he's also done, there have also been issues around Amazon and workers' rights. And you could probably pick each of these people and find something. I just met somebody who actually knew Anita Roddick, who started a body shop, and said that, wow, she was a tough manager and a tough leader. And so the idea for us was that clearly these people have achieved something which is remarkable. And clearly these people are globally well known for what they have achieved. So each of them represents a certain quality, a certain competence for us. For example, Branson represents passion, and certainly Jobs represents vision. And our idea is not that someone would have to become Steve Jobs to get their dreams, but certainly if I could have his vision, that would be very helpful for me personally.
Yeah, I think this is a really important point that Mickey's making, that mindset is not personality. In fact, if we just go back for a moment to these things, we're not saying that these are the personalities of these individuals. And in fact, any one of these examples of mindset could be changed quickly. And that's what we mean by mindset. So when we show these people, we're not saying we're gonna try to be like them. Everybody has their flaws. I mean, even Richard Branson, who just, as I was saying, went to into the edge of the atmosphere yesterday. People would say, well, why isn't he spending his billions of dollars, working on climate change? Nobody's perfect. But what we know is that there's a way of thinking that can make a difference. And that's what we're wanting to focus on here.
So when we talk about the Mindset Maps tool, what is that tool? Basically, what we created is an online assessment and development tool. And our intention is to help people, and they could be coaches, and they could be people who just want to self-develop, or they could be leaders, to better understand, first of all, their own mindset, and then make some key adjustments necessary in order to reach certain important goals. And you can see some of those goals on this graph down here.
And I think this is an important image, because what we're saying is that we're trying to take something that's invisible and make it more visible. And that's exactly what the mindset map is. We're saying, okay, if we could take some of these things, in fact, you saw in that image that we've shown a couple of times here, these are what's happening inside of somebody. Nobody can see that. And so we want to be able to visualize that. And that's why we call it the mindset map. It's showing us in a visual way what's going on. Now, some of you might be familiar also with the success factor modeling work and the success factor modeling books. And so the mindset is not just only about what's happening in my mind, it's also about how that makes a difference in what I do, and especially, of course, from a perspective of our projects and our ventures. So the mindset map is actually very connected to what we call the circle of success, which is shown here and is described in the Success Factor Modeling Volume 1 book.
And as you can see, it starts, the central circle relates to self, identity, purpose, and motivation. Because only if I'm clear on who I am and what I stand for, can I actually hope to achieve any personal satisfaction out of my work. And only then am I able to decide who my customers should be and what kind of world, what kind of vision do I want to realize through myself and through my venture.
Now, this circle of success is about how we build a successful project or venture. So you see it has to do with how that expression of myself and identity, when I bring it towards my customers, becomes the products that I create for my customers, but I also express that towards my team, towards my partners, towards my stakeholders, who could be traditional investors or who could be just anyone who is supporting me in being able to follow my professional path. And so this is how we actually build something that's a successful venture. But these are the actions and the outcomes. And what the mindset map is really showing us is how that circle of success is supported by having some of these appropriate mindset characteristics. We cannot act the way that is most appropriate if we don't have the right mindset. We like to say that the mindset is like the software that's driving, the laptop or the tablet or the smartphone. I can't expect the smartphone to do something different if I just keep using the same apps. I have to find a new app or upgrade or update those apps. And that's what Mindset Map is about.
And as you can see, mindset then has these three circles there on the map. You can see a meta circle, a macro circle, and a micro circle. And maybe if we go to the next slide, this is an example of what is kind of the heart of this project. This tool is able to pinpoint your current mindset map and kind of contrast it to an ideal mindset map, which is based on research and modeling and all those people that you've seen and many others who are lesser known but very important. So you can sort of contrast the two, and you can see in these concentric circles, you will see certain icons which will light up fully, and that means that you do have a pretty good grab on those. So for example, on this picture, you see a compass on the left side, right, in the first circle, which means that that person has a pretty good idea of his vision. But as you can see, there is a little icon for a barrel, which the barrel represents for us the mission, the cargo that we are taking into the world. And that's not lit up, and it's circled in red, which indicates that if I were to pick my goal as making a more meaningful contribution, then that would actually be very, very important for me. So we have noticed that depending on this goal that I take or this focus that I have currently, there's going to be a different pattern of mindset that would support me achieving that goal.
And again, the key here is that you don't have to change your personality, right? You can have the same personality, but just shift the focus of your mindset. And this is something that not only we have researched in others, but we also have lived and practiced ourselves, that we know very well that if I need to, achieve a particular goal, especially for our business or our venture, I have to put on a different hat. So in some ways you could say that these mindsets are like, right, I have to put on my, developer hat, and then I have to put on my marketer hat. And so we're looking at which of these characteristics on a meta level, a macro level, and micro level are the most important. And in fact, that's what another one of our key parts of the mindset inventory are about. There's a part that's free that people can go to online, and it's part of the way that we create a funnel for our coaches, that anybody anywhere in the world can go on and take this mindset inventory. But then when you get to the end, it's giving you some information, but to really know exactly what to do, and this is where the coaching comes in, we have what we call a premium report, which makes a much more in-depth analysis of the mindset, and then suggests and proposes, given what needs to change or what needs to be updated, any number of 49 different tools. So it also helps you to find, and this is what we'll be focusing on a little bit with you in this webinar, is to find where your potential zone of genius is and how you can adjust your mindset to really unlock the full potential. And that's really powerful.
And this is where, this idea, if we think of a coach, often people say, well, what do you do? It's invisible. It must be really hard to sell what you do. Oh, you're a coach. Well, that's a luxury product, and we don't know if something really happens at the end or not. So one of the power of this tool, one of the powerful ways of using it as a coach, is that you can actually show to your client, here is your mindset at the beginning of the process. Here is your mindset at the middle of the process when we have already started to take some steps, and here it is at the end when we have accomplished, a full action plan that we have created together, and can we see the difference? And so it helps to really show and visualize the difference that we make often as coaches for our clients.
And this is one of the big differences between a mindset map inventory and like a personality profile. If you have a personality profile, you take it once and that's it. That's your personality and you're stuck with it. With the mindset inventory, it can show you and you can track how you're expanding and improving these different aspects of your mindset. And again, as Mickey was saying, this is so important as a coach. And in fact, our the report has a lot of very interesting information that coaches can use, and with the feedback that we've gotten from our current mindset map coaches is that this is so helpful, that this tool is very practical. It's very also very useful, not only for them as a coach, but also for their client.
And as you can see, I mean, it's not easy to read, but basically the idea is that we will go through each key area, the meta, the macro, the micro, and you will get information that you can both use for your own purposes when you are kind of doing self-development, but often we work with a team, or we work with a CEO, or we work with the head of a division, and we're really going to be able to pinpoint key areas for development. And in a way, it really helps a coach, because there's that story that something breaks down on a ship, and then this guy comes, and he shows up. He's the master fixer, and he's got a hammer, and he just taps twice with the hammer, and everything is back to normal. And then he charges, I don't know, $2,000. And can you really charge $2,000 for a tap? And the thing is, well, if you know where to tap, maybe you can. And really the mindset map is about that, like knowing where to focus and being able to show that to the client.
That's the key part of that story. I think it was $1,000, and they said, well, can you send me the invoice that details what you did? And he said, yeah. And he says, okay, tapping twice, $10. Knowing where to tap is $990. And
exactly.
And I think that's a big part of what this is about. And what the premium report is really helping you to do is to know where to tap, and in that metaphor that Mickey was just saying. So now, big part of that, and this is where we're going to do a little bit of focusing for this particular webinar, because this part is not in the free online version of the mindset map inventory that you can get. And this is one of the really major contributions that we don't see, and I've never seen in any other tool, or I've never even seen in any other book, is the whole idea of what we call these zones of competence. Because what the mindset map can help you to do is to identify, okay, what is it that I'm really, really good at? What is it that I might be spending my time doing, but more, as this says, I'm wasting my time. Some places I'm more incompetent. Some things are an interest, but I'm not very good at it. Some things would be a hobby. Okay, I enjoy it. I spend time doing it, but it's not really my competence. Other things are my competence. I'm good at it, but I don't really like it. And maybe I don't even spend that much time doing it. Then we get to these very interesting areas. And this is where you really want to be able to bring the focus. And I think this is what mindset map inventory helps us to discover, is these places of our excellence, and even more importantly than that, our genius.
And just to give you a real quick example, one of my clients, and I have not really introduced myself at the beginning. I'm pretty sure that you all know Robert. I mean, my background is 20 years in business, and then 15 years in organizational development, and working with lots of companies, thousands of leaders and entrepreneurs around the world. And I'm also a psychologist. And so, an interesting example is a recent client who is a CEO of a startup, and he basically comes from a finance background. So he's very good at finance, and he's really good with numbers. And he can't help himself. He says, he ends up doing all the work with data manipulation, putting together budgets. Whenever it comes down to numbers, he gets involved. And people love it because he's really good at it, as he says. But it really prevents him from focusing on strategic, big picture tasks, which, as a CEO, he should really be doing more of. And so it's a typical example when you're good at something. He even likes doing it, by the way. But it isn't something that he really should be doing, and it isn't something that will move him forward towards his personal vision of becoming a more strategic CEO. Neither does it help for the business, right? Because the business needs somebody on the top who's focused on the big picture rather than on the nitty-gritty. So this is the moment of when your competence, or even excellence in his case, really stands in the way of your genius.
I've had so many examples of that. I was coaching a young man who really had this big vision to start a training institution, but what he would do is he'd spend all night working on a website about it, and then not get up till 2:00 in the morning the next day. And I mean, he really loved doing that work, but it was not the part that he needed to do. So again, the fact that he loved it and was good at it didn't necessarily mean that that's what he needed to be putting his attention on at the time. And that's really one of the things that the mindset map can help us with. So going back to our slides for a minute, if we think about this, and we're going to be inviting you to start bringing your attention to this now for yourself. When we start looking at how we clarify what is that zone of genius, well, we can look at two first fundamental filters. One is our motivation, what we're motivated to do. And then the other is our competence. And then we can look at sort of these different areas of that, if there's something I like doing, but I'm not very good at, that's kind of a hobby. If there's something that I'm good at, but I don't really like, it's a job, it's not really something that is fulfilling, maybe my career. Yeah. If I don't like it and I'm not good at it, it's really tedious. But so the sweet spot that we're always looking for is where we are both motivated and competent. Now, actually, what the mindset map inventory allows us to do, and Mickey, I'll let you kind of take on this one, is we kind of add another level here, that it's not only just my competence. Oh, by the way, excuse me, if I spend a lot of time doing stuff that I don't like and I'm not good at, it's sort of like a living hell in a way. Unfortunately, this is what a lot of people who come in for coaching from me are doing. They're spending time doing, maybe because they're paid and it's the only thing that they feel like they can get, but there's something that they don't like, and it's not their thing that they're best at. And that's really a trap.
And oftentimes, by the way, so as we move on and you add the next layer, oftentimes what happens is when we work with coaches, they tell us, I love coaching. This was something that I dreamed of doing all my life, right? But I don't feel like I'm good at it enough so that it can become my whole profession. So as much as I love it, I kind of do it on the side while I stick to this job, which
Exactly.
which is something that's not fulfilling, but I'm really good at it, and therefore I make enough money with it. So we kind of added this other layer, which is, okay, so do you actually enjoy it? Are you passionate about it? Is it something that you truly love? And then, is it really a superpower? Is it really something that you're really good at?
And there's also that movement from a competence to an excellence, because again, I can be competent at something, and this is where, again, as Mickey was saying, we find that a lot of people who are coaches, it basically starts as a hobby. As Mickey was saying, it's something they do on the side because they really love it, but they need to reach that level of excellence and competence to know, hey, I can actually do this. And beyond that, there's a whole area here that we would say, if I'm really spending the time doing what is really my sweet spot, what I'm really passionate about, and what really is my excellence, and then especially, and this is part of what we also find out in the mindset map inventory, it is connecting my mission and my vision. That's where I have this genius. And that's really a big part of what the mindset map inventory helps you to identify.
So this is what, Robert mentioned, the premium report will help you to pinpoint, because in with my previous example, the guy is passionate about numbers. He's really good at it. It actually is one of his superpowers, and he does spend a lot of time doing it. But the problem is, it does not help him to advance either his mission or the company's mission, and it does not help to advance the business to reach its vision. So therefore, it will never be his zone of genius. And what he understood through the work was that, even though he loves it and he's good at it, and he doesn't want to make any mistake, like, because he's so concerned about his startup, if he wants to go to the next level, he's going to have to let go and focus on his own mission and the company's vision.
So what we want to invite you to do now is to actually do a little bit of thinking about this yourself. So we say, how is it that good can be the enemy of great? You've probably heard that term, and it sounds, kind of paradoxical in a way, that my good is actually keeping me from being my great. And so there's a couple of questions here, what to maybe just reflect on, and think about this for yourself and maybe some of your own clients if you're a coach.
This is, by the way, a quote from Jim Collins. He came out with this idea that good is the enemy of great. So let's kind of try to put this into the perspective of the mindset maps and how we think about that. Because the first question we want to ask is, what are some things that you really love doing, you're passionate about, and you enjoy doing it.
So just take a moment and reflect on that. What are some things that you really love to do? And sometimes we even, say that, I mean, again, maybe you do have some of your own hobbies. What do you do that brings you energy, that brings you enthusiasm, that brings you joy? That again, you feel, wow, I feel alive in doing this.
And then, as you reflect on that, what are some things that you're good at, that you're really, really good at? When you're at your best, you tend to do these things, and they tend to be pretty specific behaviors in specific contexts. I'm really good at this. And often, the two can overlap. I could be, I could be really good at singing, and I could be passionate about singing. But it could also be that I enjoy music, I enjoy singing, but I'm not especially good at it. So it's important for us to kind of see those two as two
And,
separate things.
and then a third question, and this is so in our mindset map inventory, these are the kinds of things that we're having people answer about, in fact, about particular aspects of building and creating a successful business. So we'll say, do you enjoy this? Are you good at this? And then another question is, do you spend time doing it? So you might want to also think about this for yourself. Think if you were going to make a pie chart of the last week or the last month, and think about what were you spending your time doing, and you were to mark out on that chart, all the different things that you spent your time doing, and then look at, well, which one of these things is my excellence, and how much of that did I actually enjoy doing? It becomes very interesting when you start looking at what is it that I'm actually doing with my life and my career.
And then, the sort of the ultimate question, okay, so I got things that I love. I'm passionate about it. Let me give you an example. I'm passionate about cooking. Then, okay, I'm good at it. I'm also good at it, actually. I'm pretty good at it. I can entertain a large group of people, and they're very impressed. Do I spend time doing it? No. Most like I do spend some time, but it's actually very little. Now, if my vision was to start a business, like a restaurant, and that's what I dreamed about, and my mission is maybe to make people happy and create communities and congregate around, great food, then, if I don't spend time doing it, it's a problem, and it's keeping me from my genius. But if my vision is to be a coach and create great tools for coaches, then maybe it's okay that, I have a passion that I'm also good at, that I don't spend that much time doing. So these are some ways of beginning to think about, how do I connect maybe something that I'm good at, I spend time doing it, and I enjoy it, to my vision and mission.
There's another thing that also happens in our coaching work, which is, let's say Mickey was saying, yeah, I'm good at cooking, but my mission is to, help other people as a coach. Well, actually, cooking can be a very interesting metaphor for coaching. And that's one of the other things that we help people to do, is to say, okay, maybe what I'm doing is not something, it's something I have to do for my business, but I'm not passionate about it. Then it becomes very interesting to think, how can I bring my passion to what I am doing? And that becomes a really game changer and a life changer, because the passion is not connected, does not have to be connected to a particular content. And so with Mickey, I think you had that really interesting example of the person who liked to play basketball. But, so the question is, well, what is it that what is it you get out of playing basketball that so makes you so passionate? And it's not about bouncing the ball or something. It's connected to something that's really more deeply, something that is touching me on this, that center of the circle of success, is this identity level. So think about this for yourself. How would you answer some of these questions? And where are you maybe not letting yourself explore as much of what you could about your excellence and your genius?
And one of the interesting next steps that you can potentially take is to actually try the premium report and see, in relationship to the circle of success, which are some of the key activities that we do understand that are very important to build a successful business. Out of those, which ones fall into the category of your excellence, and which ones are maybe just hobbies, and maybe, what are some untapped excellencies and opportunities, and how can you connect it to your vision and mission so that you can step into that zone of genius.
And just so that you know, of our 49 tools, there are tools that are there to help people get more of that sense of motivation. How do I actually learn to enjoy something? How do I learn to transfer where my passion is to something else that I'm doing that is not naturally motivating for me? And again, that can be a game changer. Another whole set of tools is about, okay, I know I need to get good at this. How do I get good at something? And that's another part of what we do as coaches. We help people to improve at, being good at something. And then another part is about time management, and prioritization. So these
which
are what these
which
49 tools do.
Yeah, sorry. And I was just gonna say, Robert, one thing is time management, which we need right now, because we do want to we do want to give some time for people to ask
I know.
questions.
So we can see that we're passionate about this. But yeah. So okay. So why should we, certify as a professional mindset coach? Well, one thing is that it's going to expand, as we were just saying, your professional toolkit, and it's a research-based tool that, as we were saying, it really demystifies mindset.
We did talk to a lot of coaches who have already graduated from the course, and one of them said, well, what the mindset map does is it helps you to dive deeper, so you tap on the right place, so you can actually charge more, and you are faster, and you can take on more clients, and you can even take on a team of clients, and help them simultaneously. So he really thought that there's a business case there for a coach.
Mm. So you're really expanding your business opportunities, and it really does give you a very a major differentiation. And again, so who is it for? Well, for entrepreneurs, for business leaders, obviously, as we're saying here, for coaches, it's a big important tool for coaches, but also consultants and HR professionals.
And you can probably also sense that it would work in an individual context, it would work with a team, it would work from the point of view of how do I help somebody to reach their full potential, so talent development. It could also help a lot in terms of managing a larger change initiative or cultural change in a company, and how to align mindsets. So all in all, in organizational development consulting, when we help an organization from go to A to C, extremely helpful.
So then so what about our coach faculty? So it's not just about being certified, it's actually becoming a member of our international coach faculty, which is a professional community of mindset coaches. We do regular best practices sharing on a global level. Even just think about those of you who are here attending this. We have people from Brazil. We have people from, all over. I mean, even some people in the U.S. and Europe. So, it's a really
Asia, Russia, yeah.
right, Russia.
So it's referrals, it's sharing our best practices, it's really kind of congregating around something that helps to differentiate, and also helps to change, quite frankly, how business is being done. Because it's not any kind of mindset change that we are supporting, it's a conscious mindset change. It's a tool in the toolbox of the coach, the awakener, and not a coach who wants to help people continue to do the way they destroy the environment, the way they don't care about their employees. It's not for that. It's for the opposite.
So in fact, if you, as we're showing here, if you go to the mindsetmapsinternational.com, you can see some of our coach faculty who are really, again, like the group that's here from all over the world. And so what is the program? So we've gone over a little bit about who should take it, and why, what do you get? So you're going to get a unique tool, a differentiator, this global community, ongoing learning, access to our back end system, which we'll say a little bit more about.
And then, from a process point of view, it will take you through 5 modules. And the first one is online, and it looks at the 5 core outcomes or focuses and the particular mindsets that support each of those. And then the second one is about the process itself. So how do you coach with the Mindset Map tool? We sort of hope that the people who are joining the course already have an idea of coaching. And what we want to do is, how do you integrate it into your coaching work, and what are the key steps there?
And the third module is, as we were showing in one of our slides, it's about the relationship between the mindset and the circle of success, of how you really build a sustainable and scalable business.
And then Robert mentioned 49 tools. So those are mostly NLP based tools, and they're sort of built into the system in the sense that each time it will recommend a tool to sort of close the gap and help you to align your mindset in the right direction. And then, the final module is really about connecting the dots, getting some supervision, providing evidence that you have mastered this and you have worked with 5 clients. So there's some supervised coaching, and you are at the end certified.
And so the first module is something that, because it's completely online, that you can take anytime from the beginning of when you register. And then our first module starts at the end of August there. So begins on August 24th. And then the second module is in September, early September. The fourth module is in end of September. And then the final module is in October.
And each time it's about, on each day, it's about 2.5 hours. And then there's some pre-work up to about 2 hours that you do. So each module is actually around 7-8 hours of work, but you can pretty much plan it and do it on your own. Like you need to be there when we are there. We are also recording it, but the pre-work, you can do it when it best fits you. So it is actually very, let's put it this way, user-friendly in terms of learning.
Yeah, and we're making it so that people who have different learning styles will all have an opportunity to find a way that works best for you. So again, now also we have an early bird price. We'll say a little bit more about where to go to register, but until the end of this month. And so what are some of the values? So in addition to the training, we're going to give people get a electronic copy of our generative consulting book that Mickey and I are co-authors of with some others, that highlights, and this book gives examples of how the mindset map has been used in different types of organizational consulting.
And in the meantime, I have seen a question in the chat box about starting times. So starting times are 7:30 p.m. PT. So like now.
Well, like 45 minutes ago.
Yeah, exactly. So that would be 8 a.m. in India and 10:30 in China and 11:30 in Tokyo. But anyway, it's 7:30 p.m. PT. So it is friendly for the Pacific time zone and Asia. And as you can see, you get a lot of value packed into this. So you get an access to the back end, which is where you see all the results of your clients, which is where you can generate reports, which is where you're going to be able to access additional tools, because we are creating a team report and a leadership report, which is very soon coming out. And you will not be charged for that for a year. You will also get your own premium report, as well as you get 5 reports which you can use for practice. As you do some practice coaching sessions, you're required to do 5 during the course. So that's actually a $210 value that you also get packed in.
And then We also have you get a PDF copy of the Success Mindset Maps workbook that contains all the 49 tools and paper versions of how to do the assessments. And that's another, I think, very important value. So there's a lot there. We're going to kind of wrap up because we know we want to see what other questions you might have. So if you're interested in registering, as we said, the early bird price goes to the end of the month, and you can register at our mindsetmapsinternational.com, /events. So thank you. I know that's a lot to go over, but we're also interested in finding out if there are questions that you have about this, and you can put them in the chat or you can raise your hand. I see that says, is there a technical paper to look at the validity of the report? Well, the report, again, the interesting thing about the report itself is that, first of all, it's a reflection it's a map of the mindset of the person who is taking the report. So there's the validity is basically going to be their answering to these questions. So it's showing you like a mirror back, except a mirror to what is invisible. Now, as far as the other things about the ideal mindset maps, those are things that have been put in the success factor modeling books. There's something that, I mean, I've been studying these patterns of success for over 20 years. So I think they're very solid. And we give all kinds of examples. In fact, as you'll see in the mindset inventory, we're giving examples of, direct quotes from the people that we've modeled. I see there's another question. Do I need to complete the training to use this mindset map tool? I mean, the answer is no, you don't have to complete the training, but the training is going to tell you as a coach how to use it and to get the most out of it. You can go up. I mean, so a part of this inventory is free online for anybody who wants to use it. We also want to say that we are establishing partnerships in different parts of the world. We'll have a French version that's coming up very soon. We'll have a version in Greek. We're having others that are coming in, like Italian, in Japanese, in Chinese. So we're getting partners. So we'll actually have that inventory in those different languages. But the key is that'll only take you to a certain place, and then it will recommend, because to really get the best out of it, it's going to be helpful to have somebody who has the competences and the know-how of a coach.
So at the moment, you're able to use it for your own self-coaching purposes. Fairly soon in the future, we're moving to a model where you're going to be able to look at part of your mindset, such as the meta big picture level. But if you want to understand the macro and micro level, then you're going to be working with a coach. So if you want to use this as a coach in your practice, then the answer is yes, you do have to do the training. If you want to try it out and feel it for yourself, it's something that you can do without the training.
Yeah. So I see it says, so as an eventually qualified coach, do I purchase the report through your platform or my clients? Yes. And we also give incentives for that. So that's also part of it as well.
So again, there, currently customers can go and purchase reports through the website. And in the near future, we are moving to a different approach, which is going to be that customers can have what we call a membership, where they pay a higher price, and then they can take 4 reports and they can watch videos and they can be part of a community. But people who are going to take the inventory and want to learn more about it will go to you or to a coach who is already a certified Mindset Maps coach. And what we want to do is Mindset Maps coaches can buy the reports at a wholesale price, and then you will be able to build it into your fees and charge the client, the fee that you see fit for that particular client. So there is going to be a financial incentive for coaches to sell the reports, and we don't want to be selling them individually directly in the future.
I do want to say that I see that there was a question about saying, well, so in order to test the full report for myself first, I need to do that through a certified coach. So, no, you don't have to do that. You can go online and you can get a premium report for yourself. Part of what we're saying is that to really be able to get the most out of that premium report, it's really helpful to have somebody that knows, the relation between those things and the circle of success, that knows how to interpret all of the not only just the specific answers, but how different answers relate to each other and influence each other.
Thank you. Patrick just said that he signed up and the process was easy, so that's encouraging. Thank you. And by the way,
easier and easier all the time.
Well, welcome. And by the way, in terms of this other question from Ruby, the training is in Spanish. Is it translated into Spanish? So the answer is no. It's going to be in English. If we were able to have like a small group of Spanish speakers, like 5-6 people, then maybe we could explore an opportunity for creating, like we could do a simultaneous translation and maybe offer somebody to come to the course free of charge if they are willing to help with the simultaneous translation. So maybe there could be arrangements, but right now, as is, it's going to be in English. If you feel like maybe you could organize a group of Spanish speakers, then we should talk about that. That's kind of where we stand with languages.
Zoom does have and our Zoom capabilities. We do have the possibility of simultaneous translation, but again, we'd have to have enough people to do it. So I see. So Ruby's saying that she translates the books of Robert to Spanish. So okay, well, that's great. So you would be the perfect person. Thank you. Can you expand more about the partnership and its structure? Yeah. So with partnership, obviously, we are. There's a whole language area, but there's also geographical area. So we're establishing partnerships in, primarily, different languages, but also in geographic areas. And the idea of a partnership is that that person would be somebody who is conducting, for example, the coach trainings in their area. They would need to manage the translation. And I do want to say that when we designed the Mindset Map inventory, the web app, we designed it specifically with the knowledge that we would have it translated. So we've made it very easy for the translations to be put in so that we can actually make the whole mindset inventory in other languages fairly quickly once we get the translations. But then a partner will also be basically managing the coaches in their area, and especially when there's a language orientation. So, for example, our French partners will be doing a French coach training, maybe multiple coach trainings. What we've done in some cases, we will be doing, for example, in China and Japan, is Mickey and I will come and do sort of the first coach training being interpreted, and then from then on, the partner will be doing the coach training.
So really, in one sentence, if you are an entrepreneur who has an ambition to have an institute or already has an institute, and you're interested in building a bigger business around mindset maps and really offering it to local entrepreneurs in the local language, being a hub for local coaches in the local language, provide them supervision to be able to train mindset map coaches yourselves. So that's really kind of the next step. The first step is I become a certified coach. I really understand the tool inside out and I use it in my practice. And now I have this ambition to really build something bigger around it. So that's when you explore partnership. And we sort of think of it as a natural evolution that you first come to the first, the certification training, we get to know each other, we work through details, and then we start the discussion around partnership. So that's an opportunity. It's not a must, but those of you who are interested in it, we would love to have you in the training, and we would love to continue the discussion after.
So I see I realize our time is coming to an end here. I want to thank everybody for taking the time to be with us. I see that Stuart said he's signed up, registered, so we'll see. We're looking forward to see you. And saying, I'm from Bangladesh, I'm interested, whom will I communicate my further vision? Well, if you go, the contact information for us is on the website. So we would love to, of course, have coaches and partners in Bangladesh. So
I'm just gonna put my email. So if you email me at office@mindsetmaps.com, happy to talk. And yes, we are actually very much exploring India and Pakistan as well. So happy to talk about your vision and any other.
And as we said, we have a big vision for this too. We have the team inventory is coming up, and we're adding a whole other business to business area on leadership. So this is we're beginning of the wave here, and again, the feedback that we've gotten is that it's a really powerful tool. As we said, we've been evolving this for the past 6 years. So thank you for coming and joining us, and looking forward to hopefully seeing some of you in the future virtually, and then someday soon we'll
soon
travel again. So.
All right. So
Okay.
Thanks so much for being here.
Thank you, everybody. Have
All
a good your day, depending upon where you are, day, night, evening. So.
And have a wonderful next step in realizing your vision and connecting your genius and talent to that, to the achievement of that vision. Thank you and goodbye.
Bye, everyone.
Robert?
Yes?
Can I